These verdant hills are located just outside the village of Varbovka, 10 kilometers away from the town of Pavlikeni, in the heart of one of the most fertile agricultural areas of the Danube Plain. It is a landscape that can disappear in just a few years, Varbovka becoming the most polluted place in Bulgaria, with dangerous pollutants, including carcinogenic substances like dioxins and furans, accumulating in its air, waters and soil. The reason is a proposed large incinerator. So large that it would burn the waste of all cities, towns and villages in Bulgaria, and perhaps waste generated in many parts of Europe too. Behind the proposal is a key player in Bulgaria's waste management business, Rumen Gaytanski, the Wolf. What is more worrying is that initially this large project with potentially harmful effects on the environment and public health was being implemented in the midst of an almost complete information blackout. It all started with a concession granted to Gaytanski's company, Pavlikeni, to carry out a different type of activity, mining for basalt. The contract with the company was signed back in 2013 by Delian Dobrev, the then Minister of Economy, Energy and Tourism, during the last working day of the first government of Boyko Borisov. For over a decade, the concession remained inactive. Despite this, in 2020, Pavlikeni submitted a new investment proposal, the manufacture of stone wool from basalt, powered by its own energy source, which the documents described in such convoluted terms that even experts may have difficulties realizing what was being proposed was a waste incinerator of substantial size and capacity. According to the proposal, the incinerator would operate non-stop, burning 1,160 tons of RDF fuel daily, 423,000 tons of waste each year, a little less than the waste from all the cities, towns and villages in Bulgaria generated during an entire year. This is the capacity at the moment if all the waste from all municipalities in Bulgaria is delivered here. This is the national capacity at the moment. Just to compare, the capacity of the proposed incinerator near Varbovka is more than double that of an incinerator that was once proposed for Sofia. The Sofia project was scrapped in 2023 when the administrative court, Sofia City, decided it carried significant risks to public health. In Varbovka, however, waste incineration is still on the cards. If this incinerator starts work, it must be fed 24 hours per day. It is impossible to turn it off. It has been designed to work continuously. If it receives less than 50-something tons of waste per hour, then it enters a critical burning mode and starts emitting poisonous substances at such levels that no filter can deal with. We are worried that our area will become the waste processing hub of Bulgaria. The investment proposal did not contain information about the scale of the project. Many of the members of the municipal council were not aware of the proposal and appeared to think it was a joke. Is anyone from the municipal administration aware of this? Does the proposal contain such plans as was mentioned by the media? On-site generation via thermal power plant? On-site for what? On-site generation via thermal power plant. A thermal power plant. On-site waste incinerator. But how? They were awarded a mining concession. The enormous capacity of the incinerator raises a logical question. What is the true objective of Pavliki's new plan? Is the waste incinerator really necessary to power the rock wool manufacturing plant? Or will the production of rock wool serve as a front for the actual business goal? establishing Varbovka as the waste processing hub of Bulgaria and the Balkans? Supporting the latter assumption is the profile of the investor. Patrugia's owner, Rumen Gaytanski, the Wolf, is a key player in Bulgaria's waste processing sector. He has been linked with an organized criminal group known as VIS and with Ahmed Dogan, founder of the Movement for Rights and Freedoms political party. In the 1990s, Gaytanski's companies, Ditz and Wolf, enjoyed a de facto monopoly in waste collection in Sofia. Who loses and who wins from the permanent crisis in waste collection, which is about to turn into an endless saga? In 2006, as Boyko Borisov ascended to the Sofia mayoral post, he vowed to terminate all contracts with Gaytanski's companies, claiming that they were hurting the interest of Sofia's citizens and were the reason behind the crisis from the summer of that year. Hundreds of millions were about to go. There are no bears, wolves or foxes. You know what state Sofia was in when I became mayor. Despite these promises, Gaytanski never left Sofia's waste collection. Since 2016, he has been back in full swing, his companies being awarded waste collection contracts in several of the capital's districts. According to his company's website, Gaytanski is also responsible for waste collection in the towns of Stara Zagora, Kırjeli, Sliven, Haskovo and Pomori. From the start, Patrugia's new project often pushed the legal limits, but enjoyed important, though hard-to-explain support from local and national authorities. For example, in 2021, the Regional Inspectorate of the Environment and Waters, Veliko Turnovo, decided there was no need for Patrugia to submit a new environmental assessment report. This decision was taken although the original plan, drawn up in 2013, had undergone fundamental changes. The site was transformed from a basalt mine to a manufacturing facility with its own energy source, a power plant burning RDF fuel with possible harmful impacts on the air, water and soil. However, the Regional Inspectorate claimed that the changes were unlikely to have a significant adverse impact on the environment and human health. It remains unclear whether the officials were unaware of the environmental risks of waste incineration, or perhaps they considered them a minor detail which should not stand in the way of such a sound investment idea. The Regional Inspectorate issued this assessment even though, on 2 occasions, it had requested and received opinions from the Regional Health Inspectorate, stating that the information submitted by the investor was not sufficient for a definite evaluation of the potential hazards to human health and the environment associated with the investment proposal. The authorities' latitude seems to be even more concerning considering the rising opposition to waste incineration in the European Union. The burning of waste emits substances known as dioxins and furans, which are extremely harmful to human health. These substances are carcinogenic and tend to accumulate in the environment, entering the food chain, especially animal fats, dairy products and fish. One of the most telling examples of the hazards of waste incineration is from Lausanne, Switzerland. A study from 2018, conducted 14 years after the closure of the city's incinerator, with a capacity much smaller than that of the proposed facility in Varbovka, has shown that the levels of dioxins and furans within the 15-kilometer radius of the incinerator continue to be detrimental to human health. Farms located in the area are still banned from selling dairy and eggs. In the city's parks, visitors are instructed to walk along the alleys and children not to play in the grass. At the end of 2021, during the review of the Environmental Impact Assessment Report, which the investor had submitted, the Regional Inspectorate of the Environment continued to be oblivious to the risks. The report has several major gaps. It does not stipulate what will happen with the bottom ash and fly ash, which, according to the supplier of the chosen incineration technology, will be equal to 19% of the weight of the burned waste, or more than 220 tons per day. If we just picture the amount of waste fuel that will be burned daily, we have nearly 70 trucks. Of this, the residue from the burning will be enough to fill 20 to 25 trucks, and some of this waste should be classified as hazardous. The residue, which, as per the most optimistic scenarios, will be at least 200 tons per day, is supposed to be handled by a specialized company. No company in Bulgaria has this kind of expertise. We have no idea where the ash will be deposited. There are two hazardous waste facilities in northern Bulgaria, one in Sevlievo and a smaller one in Silistra. If the ash was brought there, the facility in Sevlievo, which was created more recently, will be filled up in 4 months. And consider that it is supposed to serve the entire region. The investor has made no reliable provisions for monitoring harmful air pollution, especially the levels of emitted persistent organic pollutants like dioxins and furans, which are released as waste is burned. There are serious gaps in terms of water management and the protection of water bodies from pollution. There are many issues related to water management. Firstly, surface water bodies will be polluted since there will be effluent discharges of unknown quantities and of unknown composition. The discharged effluents will contain residues from the bottom and fly ash. Building an incinerator with a capacity of 400,000 tons of waste per year is not just a local or regional problem. It is a national problem. It will concentrate all the problems related to waste management in Bulgaria in this one facility near Varbovka. Furthermore, the report does not address potential significant health and socio-economic risks. Whatever measures are implemented, whatever conditions imposed, considering the large volume of waste that will be burned under the proposal, there is a heightened risk that 20 years from now, my child may suffer fertility problems, or autoimmune diseases, or may go on to develop cancer. Everyone living in the vicinity will be subjected to increasing risks because certain pollutants tend to accumulate in the environment over time, reaching higher and higher concentrations, regardless of whether the polluting activities have ceased or not. When responding to the concerns related to the impact of waste incineration, the investor and the local government in Pavlikeni municipality stressed that the incinerator would attract significant investments and create 300 local jobs. To help support the project, the mayor of Pavlikeni, Emmanuel Manolov, proposed the sale of 63 dekas of municipal land to Gaytanski's companies. The municipal council approved the proposal, even though the transaction was illegal. Article 19 of the Act on Agricultural Land prohibits the sale. Despite all this, the municipality consolidated a plot of 63 dekas, selling it in violation of the law. Initially, years ago, we were glad when we heard that there would be a large plant which would keep young people here and pay them salaries equal to those in Europe. They burn waste all over Europe. Instead of burying it, they burn waste in the cities to produce energy. There is a way to protect the environment and to use the waste rather than just burying it. But I will leave this topic to the experts. It is not clear whether the project will, indeed, create 300 new jobs. What is clear, however, is that Protrugia did create at least one new job for an important person. The mayor's sister started working for the investor while her brother was overseeing the administration directly responsible for measures related to the investment proposal. She started her tenure in Pavlikeni on the 4th of May 2020 until the 1st of February 2022. She served as manager for commercial activities at the company. During this period, the mayor tabled 5 proposals which facilitated the investor's plan for Varbovka. The appointment of the mayor's sister at Gaytanski's company should mean Pavlikeni's mayor was engaged in a conflict of interests. The mayor admitted that he had suggested to the investor to hire his sister, who was the right person for the job. Yes, my sister worked there for some time, but I don't find anything strange in this fact. This happened while my sister worked as an economist for the hospital, but was not happy with that job. I just suggested that she was the right person for that position. Despite the facts, the Anti-Corruption Commission, CAFIAP, did not find a conflict of interest in the mayor's actions. CAFIAP closed their eyes even to the fact that Pavlikeni's municipality, represented by the deputy mayor, had voted in favour of Pavliki's proposal, which essentially decided the fate of the proposal. The representative of the municipal administration for the village of Varbovka also voted in favour of the project. The timing of the voting session coincided with the last working day of the mayor's sister at Pavlikeni. Most of the council's members supported the project. 9 voted in favour, 2 against, and 6 members abstained. 2 members filed special opinions in which they outlined several violations. The public hearing of the investment proposal was held at the end of 2021, just before the Christmas holidays. The deadline for filing comments was just a month. We had exactly 1 month from the 6th of December until the 6th of January to go over a document of 400 pages, without the annexes, which were in the end not accessible. It all happened during the COVID pandemic, when people had restricted access. You can imagine how many working days there are from the 6th of December to the 6th of January, and what proportion of the citizens who had been vaccinated and possessed certificates managed to go through 400 pages of technical writing. Once civic activists became aware of the magnitude of the problem, they founded the Civic Committee for Pavlikeni, which started a petition against the project. More than 20,000 citizens in the towns of Pavlikeni, Levski, Sukhindal, Velika Turnovo and Sevlievo signed against it. On the 2nd of January 2022, a new director was appointed to lead the Regional Inspectorate of the Environment. Because of the civic protests and procedural violations, the new director called a new Environmental Expert Council. During the voting session, 19 members voted against. The new director of the Regional Inspectorate issued a decision against the investment proposal. When there is uncertainty related to the full assessment of a project and the possibility of objections, a project should not be given the green light on the basis that it is possible to have a negative impact on different components of the environment and, therefore, on human health. The decision issued by the inspectorate stated that Gaytanski's investment proposal was associated with a serious potential impact on the quality of air, water and soil. Radova's decision was also based on the assessments of other institutions and expert bodies. The decision refers to an assessment by the Regional Health Inspectorate from the 2nd of August 2022, which states that the information provided as part of the environmental impact assessment was incomplete and inaccurate. The Ministry of Health also issued a negative assessment, stating that there is a risk that the people living in the vicinity of the project may be negatively affected. Despite the negative assessments of the institutions, the investor has initiated a lengthy legal battle, which it appears to be winning for the moment. 2 court instances have already ruled against the civic organisation You Decide, as it tried to challenge the decision not to oblige Patrugia to submit a new environmental assessment report. In July 2023, Judge Emil Zhelev at the Administrative Court, Sofia District, cancelled the decision of the Director of the Regional Inspectorate, which effectively blocked the investment plan. The case was heard speedily and the grounds for the decision lacked substance. At present, You Decide and the Regional Inspectorate of the Environment are appealing with the Supreme Administrative Court. The first hearing was scheduled to take place on the 15th of April 2024. Considering the previous decisions of the administrative courts, there is a significant risk that the Supreme Administrative Court will again decide in favour of the investor. The court has no remit to dictate what judgment the director of the Regional Inspectorate should take. 19 experts declared that the reviewed activity could cause harm. We expect that the Inspectorate again decides against the investment proposal, harming the earth that feeds us and which is our treasure, because of the interests of one private investor, while we ignore everyone else. This is something that we cannot agree with and we will fight on.